Gafwan's recent appearance before that August body to provide clarity on the appropriated amount in the 2024 national budget for card power. Meanwhile, during his appearance, the Liberian Finance Minister informed members of the Liberian Senate that the government of Liberia did not spend any money on the K powered as the facility was not used, contrary to media report. He had ever noted that the General Auditing Commission is conducting an audit on funds appropriated to car powered and assured the Senate that the GAC's audit report will be submitted to the legislature through its joint public account committees. Scores of Liberian women today join their war counterparts to commemorate International Women's Day under the theme Accelerating Action to End Gender Based Violence and Achieve Gender Equality in Liberia. The event, which was celebrated Friday at the Ministerial Complex in Congo Town, brought together Liberian women from government ministries and agencies, including the Ministry of Gender, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, women advocacy groups, among others. Addressing a cross section of women at the event, the keynote speaker of this year's celebration, Councillor Tonian Wills, stressed the need to strengthen the Liberian law to protect women's rights and equality. She alarmed over the increasing acts of violence against women across Liberia and urged stakeholders and partners to take action in eliminating gender-based violence and promoting gender equality. According to her, the efforts are crucial to creating transformative change in the lives of women and girls across the country. Tony, that's Councillor Tonian, at the same time emphasized on the significance of the International Women's Day celebration, thus describing it as an annual event that reflects on the progress made towards gender equality and achievements of women across the world. Two lawmakers of the majority bloc of the House of Representatives have alarmed over death threat on their lives by ritualistic acts. Both Representative Foley Famulet and Ava Jones took to the respective Facebook pages Friday, raising the alarm of death by traditional means. Representative Foley Famulet said he saw pieces of traditional charms on his office desk when he arrived at the Capitol building. Representative Arthur Jones, on the other hand, said when he took out at his Capitol building office, he saw fresh blood at his office, though leaving to conclude that it was a ritual for his death. Those two are members of the majority bloc. The Supreme Court of Liberia this week referred to as self-styled and the Speaker, Rachel Kuhn, as purported Speaker. In an effort to restore confidence in the financial sector of the country, Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gafwan said the government has disclosed that started interest debt owed to commercial banks in the country. It has been reported that during the CDC regime, a total of US 83 million loan was borrowed from the Central Bank of Liberia to cover civil servant salaries. Meanwhile, speaking on a local radio station Thursday, Minister Gafwan said the move is aimed at ensuring financial confidence under the Boykai Kun's administration. According to him, though the previous administration borrowed heavily from commercial banks, contractors, and small businesses without proper repayment plans but promised to do so. He added that the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Finance, will institute measures geared towards addressing the existing financial crisis in the country. Transport Minister Salif Tala is calling on the national legislature to concur with the draft Insurance Act to ensure the smooth implementation of the Insurance Act. Speaking recently at the opening of a 3-day validation workshop, Minister Tala stated that the Act will ensure an effective regulatory body capable of overseeing the insurance market fostered trust and confidence in the industry. He emphasized that in order for the insurance sector to thrive and survive the need of the people, the ministry will ensure for the sector to strengthen and regulate the framework. The transport minister reaffirmed the ministry's support to ensure the sustainability of the National Insurance Commission. Still with more developments, a young Liberian businessman, Koli Gege, has expressed deep concern over the restriction imposed on commercial motorcyclists by the Liberian National Police. Collins said, though the measure is intended to avoid street violence and accident, it is also important to note that such a decision has increased unemployment rate in the country. He described bike riding as one of the means through which many potential youths in the country are surviving, indicating that restricting them has hindered their only means of livelihood. The young Liberian businessman also noted that the action has created unemployment of youthful population of the country, something he said has the propensity to increase criminal activities in the country. He further admonished the Liberian government to revisit its decision while urging motorcyclists across the country, especially in the Montserrat County, to avoid any form of protest and other actions that could cause violence. In a groundbreaking initiative to alleviate Liberia's telecommunication landscape, the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications, in partnership with the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, has launched a nationwide tower assessment tour. According to a statement released Friday the 12th, which is spearheaded by Minister Sekou Kroman, commenced in Grand Bassa County and is said to reshape the future of the telecommunications across the nation. The primary goal of the assessment, according to the release, is to alleviate the state of communication infrastructure through Liberia by identifying and strengthening and other areas of the telecommunication sector of the country. The initiative aims to enhance the quality, accessibility of telecommunication services, particularly in undeserved communities where connectivity is crucial for economic growth and social inclusion. Former President Joshua has embarked on distribution of assorted materials and food items, including bags of rice, to several mosques across the country. The former Liberian leader kind gesture to the Muslim community of Liberia is aimed at identified within during the holy month of Ramadan, whilst Ramadan food and assorted materials distribution team visited several communities, including Gibraltar, Central Morovia, among others. Speaking Thursday, a resident of Gibraltar community, Veronica Giblet, expressed gratitude for the president's gesture. She commended him for his continued support to the Liberian Muslim during the month of Ramadan and the observing of the Abraham Day. She emphasized that the former Liberian president donation were inclusive, reaching all marks regarded of affiliation. Giblet also praised former President Weird history of kindness, noting that his past and present acts of generosity will be remembered by many. In a bid to rebrand the University of Liberia, President Dr. Laili Mapayad has concluded a day-long engagement with the students of the University of Liberia on Thursday, addressing dozens of students at the Channing Theatre on Fenner campus. Dr. Mapayad emphasized the importance of collaboration in handling the issues faced by the university. She urged the students to always seek dialogue when presenting issues affecting them and stressed the need for constructive communication. Despite acknowledging the challenges facing the university, Dr. Mapaya assured the student that the administration will work closely with them to find solutions. She also highlighted that the university's current budget is insufficient, but vowed to lobby to partners for additional financial support to enhance the institution's efficiency. Dr. Mapaya called on the student body to maintain discipline in their pursuit of education and reminded them to adhere to the guidelines outlined in the student handbook. Bombing County Senator Edwin Snow has reaffirmed his position against the majority bloc in support of a colleague from the lower house at head of the ECOWAS delegation. Recently, the majority bloc, through Representative Richard Kuhn, requested to recall Representative Muema Breeze Manson Samuel Endo and Tao Wonway from the regional body, stating their election to the parliament was improper. Speaking on OK FM Thursday, Senator Snow asserted that the only way the parliamentarian can be recalled is when he or she has lost their seat as a lawmaker. According to him, the impasse at the lower house extending beyond the country's border does not paint a good image for the Boyka-led administration, adding that a new delegation can be sent after the conduct of the national election. He maintained that if Liberia should grow and develop, the rule of law must be respected at all levels of the society. And the Liberia Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church is claiming victory in the case between the UMC and the Global United Methodist Church over property ownership. According to Jefferson Knight, the UMC has won the legal battle over the breakaway St. Matthew United Methodist Church in the township of Cardware, breakaway 72nd United Methodist Church, and the Wheeler District United Methodist Church property. He claimed that the attempt by the Global Methodist Church, which was just about 3 months ago, intends to take over properties and charge from the Liberia Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church, which has existed for more than 200 years. Now, I've also called on members of the Global Methodist Church to proceed and construct their own churches rather than seizing properties that are owned by the United Methodist Church. Well, Newton, that's the shift of the news bulletin. It's back to you.
Stephen, continue with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular featured on King's Newsroom. If you're just joining us, a reminder you're listening to King's Newsroom, the 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Friday, February 7, 2025, and I'm Newton Tobar presenting. Stories be following this evening. The Liberian Senate mandates Finance Minister Augustine Gafwan to submit 2024 fiscal year outturn report to address the disbursement of questionable 6 million United States dollars allotted for card power in 2024 national budget. Dozens of Liberian women commemorate International Women's Day in Monrovia. The day is being celebrated under the theme Accelerating Action to End Gender-Based Violence and Achieve Gender Equality in Liberia. National Elections Commission officially certificates and declares Representative Musa Hassan Balative Citizen Movement for Change, a full-fledged political party in Liberia, says CMC has met all requirements and guidelines of the Liberian electoral body. And away from Liberia, UN crew member killed in attack on helicopter in South Sudan. We'll take a break. We'll be back with voices of the newsmakers. Thanks for rejoining us. And our first development this evening, schools of Liberian women today joined their world counterparts to commemorate International Women's Day, honor the team accelerating action to end gender-based violence and achieve gender equality in Liberia. The event, which was celebrated Friday at the ministerial complex in Congo Town, brought together Liberian women from government ministries and agencies, including the Ministry of Gender, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, and Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, women advocacy groups, among others, addressing cross-section of women at the event. The keynote speaker of this year's celebration, Councillor Tonia Wills, stressed the need to strengthen the Liberian law to protect women's rights and equality.
Establishment of the Ministry of Gender and Development, now the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, is a direct result of the Beijing Platform for Action with respect to strengthening institutional mechanisms. The election of Daniel Joseph Salih as the first female president of Liberia is also another direct achievement of the Beijing Platform for Action. The plan ahead demands accelerated action, unwavering commitment, and a unified front. Investing in the capacity of our justice system, training law enforcement officers, judges, and prosecutors on gender-sensitive approaches, strengthening survivor support services, providing safe havens, counseling, and legal aid to those who have experienced violence, reviewing and revising existing laws, ensuring that
She has at the same time alarmed over the increasing acts of violence against women across Liberia and urged stakeholders and partners to take action in eliminating gender-based violence and promoting gender equality. According to her, the efforts are crucial to creating transformative change in the lives of women and girls across the country. Councillor Tonian at the same time emphasized on the significance of the International Women's Day celebration, thus describing it as an annual event that reflects on the progress made towards gender equality and achievements of women across the world.
in celebration of International Women's Day 2025, it is my honor and privilege to serve as the keynote speaker on the national theme Accelerating Action to End Gender-Based Violence and Achieve Gender Equality in Liberia, and will also reflect on the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action after 30 years of implementation. I appreciate the women of Liberia for choosing me to serve as this year's keynote. I also thank the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection for inviting me to speak on a topic that I'm very passionate about. I've devoted much of my career to gender development, women's rights, peace building, and human rights. From this unique perspective, I will begin with a brief reflection on my experience with the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. I will then focus on the national theme of today, accelerating actions to end gender-based violence and achieve gender equality in Liberia. The Beijing Declaration Platform for Action, established at the Fourth World Conference on Women in Beijing, China in 1995, serves as a foundation for advancing the principle that women's rights are human rights and are needed to promote gender equality. It is an global agenda for achieving gender equality and women's human rights. It is also an agenda to promote equality. After 2 weeks of intense negotiations and discussions from August 30th to September 15, 1995, the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action Violence, Armed Conflict, Economy, Decision-Making, Institutional Mechanisms, Human Rights, Media, Environment, and the Girl Child.
The keynote speaker of the International Women's Day celebration today, Councillor Tonya Wills. In an effort to restore confidence in the financial sector of the country, Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gafwan said the government has disclosed that or has started settling interest on debts owed to commercial banks in the country. It has been reported that during the CDC regime, a total of US 83 million loan was borrowed from the Central Bank of Liberia to cover civil servant salaries. Meanwhile, speaking on local radio Thursday, Minister Gafwan Move is aimed at ensuring financial confidence under the Boakai Kone administration. According to him, though the previous administration borrowed heavily from commercial banks, contractors, and small businesses without proper payment plans, but promised or added that the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Finance, will institute measures geared towards addressing an existing financial crisis in the country.
The debt stock, meaning all external and domestic, is I think $2.58 billion. Domestic debt is above $1 billion United States dollars. So the domestic debt is I think 1.1 or 1.2. I will get the exact figure. Above $1 billion United States dollars. So Liberian government owes a lot. One of the realities I faced when I became Minister of Finance was distrust in government. Government had taken loans over time from even the commercial banks to service government activity. Government had contracted services from road contractors and others, even small businesses. Government would routinely not pay, and everything would just be dumped to domestic debt. And that this is what we are tackling. The commercial banks, I told them that it's not going to be a snap of the finger, to solve the problem. Because the burden is even bigger than our budget. But I can tell you, we will start on a credible, predictable path. And so we started to pay their interest. They were surprised. They are now seeing a more credible government dealing with the debt situation. What we promise, we don't promise much, but what we promise we do. And it is that credibility that is helping us. At one point, vendors, contractors, once you say government contract, they will run away because they didn't trust that government will pay. Now that is reversing. Confidence is coming.
He's Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gafwan. Transport Minister Salih Tale is calling on the national legislature to concur with the draft Insurance Act to ensure the smooth implementation of the Insurance Act. Speaking recently at the opening of a 3-day validation workshop, Minister Tale stated that the Act will ensure an effective regulatory body capable of overseeing the insurance market, foster trust and confidence in the industry. It emphasized that in order for the insurance sector to strive and serve the needs of the people, the ministry will ensure for the sector to strengthen and regulate the framework. The Transport Minister reaffirmed the ministry's support to ensure the sustainability of the National Insurance Commission.
I am honored to be here today at the validation of the Draft Insurance Act, and I want to emphasize the importance of this moment for Liberia's insurance industry. I wish to inform you that the Ministry of Transport also have shared oversight over certain aspects of the sector, and we recognize the crucial role that a unified, regulated insurance industry plays in our economy today. Over the last years, we have been equally concerned about the challenges facing the sector, including the issues of regulatory oversight in the market. We understand that for the insurance industry to thrive and fully serve the needs of our citizens, we just must strengthen our regulatory framework. So today's validation section is an important step forward, very important, and it will provide a much needed clarity, coordination, and structure that we need, but also it will ensure an effective regulatory body capable of overseeing the insurance market, thus fostering trust and confidence in the industry.
He's the Minister of Transport, Salif Tyler. A young Liberian businesswoman, Kwali Gege, has expressed deep concern over the restriction imposed on the commercial riders by the Liberian National Police. Kwali said, though the measure is intended to reverse street violence and accidents, it is also important to note that such a decision has increased the unemployment rate in the country. She described back riding as one of the means through which many potential youths in the country are surviving, indicating that restricting them has hindered their only means of livelihood.
The current ban placed on motorcyclists to ply Main Street in Monrovia is concerning, though it is a clear truth that such security measure is intended to further avoid street violence caused by motorcyclists. But it is important to note that such a decision has increased the unemployment rate in the nation capital, Monrovia. The increase in the unemployment rate, particularly with the youthful population, has the ability to increase criminal activities. I think such restrictions can be revisited with a time limit on their movement. However, it's important that motorcyclists stay peaceful in their engagement with relevant authorities. Though the recent protest was violence-free, I'm urging you to disengage from protests and all action that could cause violence and undermine the country peace and security. Always stay Liberia first, Liberia last, and Liberia forever. Because Liberia is the only country, our common patrimony, that we can enjoy than any other African state. I thank you.
He's a young Liberian businessman, Kwali Gege speaking. What if you just joining us? A reminder you're listening to King's Newsroom, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Stories will following this evening. Liberian Senate mandates Finance Minister Augustine Gavon to submit 2024 fiscal year outturn report to address the disbursement of questionable $6 million United States dollars allocated for car power in 2024 national budget. Dozens of Liberian women commemorate International Women's Day in Monrovia. The day has been celebrated under the theme Accelerating Action to End Gender-Based Violence and Achieve Gender Equality in Liberia. National Elections Commission officially certificates and declares Representative Musa Hassan Baleti's citizen movement for change a full-fledged political party in the country. Says CMC has met all requirements and guidelines of the Liberian electoral body. Away from home, UN crew member killed in attack on helicopter in South Sudan. We'll take another break to be back with more voices. Former President George Weah has embarked on the distribution of assaulted materials and food items, including bags of rice and several mosques across Liberia. The former Liberian leader can gesture to Muslim community of Liberia is aimed at identifying with them during the holy month of Ramadan. We asked Ramadan food and assorted material distribution team visited several communities including Gibraltar, Central Monrovia, among others. Speaking first, a resident of Gibraltar, Veronica Digley, expressed gratitude for charitable efforts of former President George Weah.
From safety community, I just want to tell my past president, thank you for what he's doing. And let he's continue to do it. God will bless him. The Muslim people are doing their fasting, not doing pick and choose. He borrowed medicine. They say all kinds of things about him. But here they stay, he's still doing it good. To my former president, George Mane Wiagbekube, I want to tell him thank you for what he did today. My former president, I will still remember my former president for what he been doing. Past when you were there, today president, he still continue to do good for the community. Not only safety community, but all over Liberia, he still continue his good. And God will bless him good. And he continue with hard work.
She's Veronica Digley, a resident of Gibraltar community, extending her gratitude to the former Liberian president, George Weah. In a bid to rebrand the University of Liberia, UL President Dr. Lady Mapayan has concluded a deal on engagement with student community. Addressing dozens of students at the Chinese Theater on the Fender campus, Dr. Mapayan emphasized the importance of collaboration in handling the challenges faced by the university. She urged students to always seek dialogue when presenting issues affecting them and stressed the need for constructive communication.
Those of you who decided to come today, I thank you greatly because this is the beginning of a relationship that I hope to have for the duration of my time here. I want to have a genuine relationship with the students of this university. I don't intend to sit in my office and never see you. I intend to meet with you regularly, and it's my intention that we will always be in dialogue about the affairs of the university. And from my perspective, human nature is fundamentally good, but we can be distracted from our fundamental goodness. The purpose of a higher education institution like the University of Liberia is to serve our true identities, to help us grow and learn, to become all that we can be, to be the highest and best version of ourselves. And my plan and my highest aspiration as the president of the University of Liberia is to make the university a place where that really happens. So I wanted to say that to you as my very first statement to you. My own values, as the prayer that I shared reflects our peace, unity, love, beauty, order, and discipline. We need to be organized, but we need to be organized in a way that allows us to achieve peace and unity. And all of our actions need to be infused with love. The true revolutionary is guided by great feelings of love. I am a true revolutionary, and I am guided by great feelings of love. I love you. Something else I will tell you about myself. Even though I'm a president, my spirit is the spirit of a mother, right? The spirit of the mother is she loves her children, but she also disciplines her children, right? Now, you're not my children, you're all grown-up people. But I still bring that motherly spirit. The spirit is I love you, but if we cross the line, I have to bring discipline to get everyone returning to their highest and best self, all right? So I want you to understand that some of the things we're going to talk about today fall on the love side, and some of the things we're going to talk about today fall on the discipline side, but they go hand in hand. I'm not a person who believes that disciplining people to hurt them and harm them is equal. We have to work together. We have to all be contributing. And we also have to be in dialogue. This isn't a relationship where I'm a person who believes in disciplining people for two reasons. One, so that they will get back on the right track, and two, so that we can protect and preserve the goodness of our institution, so that we can keep doing our job to help everyone become the highest and best version of themselves. So, yes, thank you. I came to this university to fix problems, and I know that the problems that we face at this university are many, are complex, complicated, hard, and very, very frustrating.
She is the president of the University of Liberia, Lady Mapaya. Bomi County Senator Eden Snow has reaffirmed his position against the majority blocking support of his colleagues from the lower house as head of the ECOWAS delegation. Recently, the majority bloc through Representative Richard Cohn requested to recall Representatives Moema Brice Mensah, Samuel Enders, and Tai Wongwe from the regional bodies, stating their election to the parliament was improper. Speaking on OKF on Thursday, Senator Snow asserted that the only way the parliamentarian can be recalled is when he or she has lost their seat as a lawmaker.
It's unfortunate. I'm a Liberian. There's nothing good for me. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make the country look good. But it's quite unfortunate that we've not been able to break bread together and resolve the impasse at the House of Representatives that is now extending beyond our borders. ECOWAS has a protocol. Liberia is a member state of ECOWAS. These are members of the House of Representatives. The only time you can move them from there is that when they are no longer member of the House of Representatives, or they turn you or the legislature. For now in ECOWAS we have the sixth legislature. If the sixth legislature expires and go into a new legislature, you will now send a new delegation. So I don't think we should do that because it will make no impact, on ECOWAS. They will still recognize those. Senator Roland Khan, when Roland Khan was accused of murder, he and Charles Benny, when they had that case, and Roland Khan was in prison for over a year, the Senate wrote ECOWAS to recall Roland Khan that he killed somebody, he was in prison, he was going through trial, and they wanted to replace him. ECOWAS responded and told them, no, as long as Roland Khan is still a senator, he is not being convicted and ejected from the Senate, they could not change him. This is not unique to Liberia. I don't want people thinking, oh, it's no using his influence. I don't have a side to start off with. I support the rule of law. When the majority black, whenever they have 49 representatives to move the speaker, they will move the speaker. That's what the law says. If the speaker resigns, he resigned, then he's no longer speaker. Anything other than that, Clarence, if you think that because the ruling party or the executive is supporting an action, so we all should cave into it, even though it's wrong, I would not do it. It's sorry, but I wouldn't do it. So I don't have a side. My side is a rule of law, and that's where I stand. So having said that, ECOWAS went to Liberia, led by the Speaker of the Parliament. That delegation was, if you listen to my presentation in the ECOWAS on the floor of plenary, I made it clear that when the Speaker went to Liberia, I had nothing to do with it, even though I was accused back home. Everyone said I was the one who influenced ECOWAS to go to Liberia. I sent the delegation. I did this. I wish I was that powerful in ECOWAS. The power that people gave me like, I wish I was that powerful. I'm only supporting the rule of law. In addition to that, Clarence, I'm the head of the delegation.
He's Pommy County Senator Edwin Snow. The Liberian Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church is claiming victory in the case between UMC and the Global Methodist Church over property ownership. According to Jefferson Knight, the UMC has won the legal battle over the breakaway St. Matthew UMC in the township of Caldwell, breakaway 72nd UMC, and the Wheeler District UMC and properties.
The whole scam that has been brought on the church by these global Methodist people, it beats our imagination that our church that was just formed in February, we want to claim the properties of a church that have been existing for almost 200 years. So it beats our imagination, and we want to condemn every action on the part of the global Methodist people for claiming United Methodist property, which don't belong to them. All of those properties don't belong to them, and they are just fighting a losing battle. I can inform you very vividly that within the last 1 week and a half, the United Methodist Church has won about 3 to 4 different cases regarding this same claim and counterclaim of our properties. Just St. Matthew United Methodist Church in Cowell won our case, and the court told the global Methodist people to vacate the premises of the church. The same thing happened at 72nd United Methodist Church on last Saturday, and the judge at the Painesville City Court also ruled that that property belongs to the United Methodist Church, and all global Methodist Church people, especially Pastor Kenneth Jackson, to vacate the premises, including Wheeler, the Wheeler District Conference of the United Methodist Church that comprises of over 40 churches with hospitals, with schools, and churches all over the place, a mission station. The judge in the Wheeler District area in Wheeler Township ruled just yesterday that the church and the mission station, the hospital, all the different facilities, I don't know how many acres of land, over I think 20 to 40 acres of land belong to the United Methodist Church. So we feel that these guys are just fighting a losing battle, and they are the reason, the cause behind all the violence activities in our country right now regarding the United Methodist Church, with the claims and counterclaims about gay and lesbianism and what have you. It's sad to see pastors, people who claim to be pastors, to be involved in these kinds of chicanery. It's disheartening. It is very, very disheartening.
He's Jefferson Knight of the United Methodist Church in Liberia. And away from home, the United Nations helicopter attempting to evacuate South Sudanese soldiers has come under fire near the town of Nasha, the UN mission there said, resulting in the death of one crew member and several troops. The attack came on Friday as the helicopter was trying to airlift soldiers following heavy clashes in Nasha between South Sudanese forces and the White Army Militia, a group which President Salva Kiir's government has linked to forces loyal to his rival and first Vice President Riek Machar. The attack is utterly distasteful and may constitute a war crime under international law. UMACE urges the investigation to determine those responsible and hold them accountable. The White Army, whose members are mostly from the near ethnic group, fought alongside Marshall forces in 2013 to 2018 civil war and pitted them against predominantly ethnic Dinka troops loyal to Kerr. Marshall's spokesperson this week said security forces had arrested the petroleum minister, the peace building minister, and deputy head of the army, and other senior military officials allied with Mashhad, raising fears for the country's fragile peace process. The government has not commented on the detentions, and Mashhad's party has denied involvement in the fighting in Nasha. Well, folks, on that note, this I would like to go home on this edition of Case Newsroom, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. But just before we go home, let's remind you of stories we've been following. Liberian Senate mandates Finance Minister Augustine Gafuan to submit 2024 fiscal year outturn report to address the disbursement of questionable $6 million allocated for car power in 2024 national budget. Dozens of Liberian women commemorate International Women's Day in Monrovia. The day has been celebrated under the theme Accelerating Action to End Gender-Based Violence and achieve gender equality in Liberia. National Elections Commission yesterday declared Representative Musa Hassan Beleti's Citizens Movement for Change, a full-fledged political party in Liberia, says the CMC has met all requirements and guidelines of the Liberian electoral body. Away from home, UN crew member killed in attack on helicopter in South Sudan. These are stories we follow here on King's Newsroom. Stephen Compton brought us the news bulletin, while St. Andrews sat at controls and coordinated the sound. I would like to say many thanks to all of our reporters, correspondents, news editors who helped in making this package of success. His newsroom takes real break to be back Monday with another fresh and splendid edition of the program. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is Newton Tukwan. I presented this edition of the program. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye bye.